gonna watch his You Wouldn't Survive 2000s gaming. But before we watch his, we're gonna watch Stop Saying Old Games Were Better by Where You At, Ron. I don't know how I fully feel about this dude, but let's see if he cook up on this, okay?
If you've been gaming long enough, you've probably heard some of these lines before. Gaming is dead. Old games are better. They don't make them like they used to. And in February 2026,
I've been victim of saying that quite a bit, I know, but I mean it. And it's not from a game design standpoint when I say that. The bigger part I'm emphasizing is the people and how we played it was different and better, not the games themselves, bro. The games themselves was actually obviously weaker in a lot of ways. You feel me? The same dude that dissed DB though. I know, bro. Yeah.
a lot of gamers resonate with that statement right now. And to some
extent,
that
slick shaded comment, man.
2026, a lot of gamers resonate with that statement right now. And to some extent, I do too. But are we actually witnessing the downfall of gaming, or are we just looking at it through nostalgia tinted glasses? In this video, we're gonna
he's even saying like to some extent he do too. I don't think he's fully saying that that's like not the case. But a big part of it is it's not the games, bro. That was better. It's not the games that was better, bro.
Behind those statements. This video is gonna be broken down into 4 different parts. Those parts being
games did not get worse, but somehow gaming got worse.
Analytical data, player behavior, social media influence, and nostalgia bias.
Hold on. All right, he might cook up with this. Let's hear him. Okay, my fault. I just want to run through. Okay.
Those statements. This video is going to be broken down into 4 different parts. Those parts being analytical data, player behavior, social media influence, and nostalgia bias.
Because analytical data, gaming has done nothing but go up. Nothing but go up. And I know he's going to point that out. Gaming is at its most profitable point right now. I think it may have peaked in pandemic where it made the most money, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still making hundreds of millions for these folks, bro. It's insane the amount of money gaming is making.
It isn't always as simple as gaming is dead or this is the golden era. There's more nuance to that. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below what your favorite game is.
Oh, chapter 1 is social media influence.
Social media influence plays a big part into how people view gaming.
Hold on, Ron. Where you at, Ron? I see you with the editing. Good stuff, my boy. I like it.
Mainly the more younger, impressionable audience. Something the gaming community has to stop doing is acting like every game from the past was flawless with no problems at all. A lot of the games from the past had bugs. They used to freeze like a lot. And
let's not do this, man. How do you always do this, bro? I'm here for the vibes, bro. Like, no, you're not.
There was way more glitches and exploits than ever before, and up until around the PS3, Xbox 360 era, games weren't getting patch notes, hot fixes, and updates. So when something was broken or overpowered, you just simply had to deal with it. Take a look at Black Ops 1, for example. Some people call Black Ops 1 the best Call of Duty of all time.
Because it is.
Some people call it the best Black Ops of all time. And yes, that game is great, but let's not rewrite history. That game was...
Ron. Okay. Hold on now. Guy. Yeah, I don't take lightly to the idea, to the terminology of saying rewriting history while you're rewriting history. But I'm gonna let him speak though. We gotta hear him though. We do gotta hear him though. Let's hear him.
Of all time. And yes, that game is great, but let's not rewrite history. That game was filled with metas and overpowered guns, the exact same way modern Call of Duty is today. Everyone in Black Ops 1 ran the same guns, the AK-47U, the Galil, the AUG, the FAMAS, the Commando. Like, bro, if we're being honest, those guns would not last a day in 2026. They would have got nerfed immediately. Y'all would have labeled them too broken or overpowered. But the reason a lot of us don't realize this about games from back then is because there wasn't someone constantly in your ear telling you the game sucks. There wasn't streamers constantly complaining on Twitch telling you about stuff they didn't like in the game. Like, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes the internet can force the devs into making good changes, but
okay, man, we just had to let him speak. He's good. He's in the clear. Hey, okay, I hear what he's saying. You probably could have worded this a little better though, but I hear what he's saying. It's cool. I see.
Other
I know what
times
he's saying.
and most times, too much complaining forces bad changes, which
right,
causes this
right.
like cycle of the devs having to go back and forth to meet each side's complaints, and now
Right,
the game loses
right,
its identity.
right.
A great example of this is Dead by Daylight. I have been playing this
Talk
game
to
since day
him.
one. Like, I am a OG player.
Right.
And since day one, the game has always been arcadey. It's all.
It seemed like Dead by Daylight was truly better when it first came out, which sucks because me, Ron, Kay, we all got into it at a point in time where in real life, from a, like, it seemed like from a design standpoint, just got worse, you know. And I think that's what made us probably stay on it less. Like, it's still fun to hop on with folks. Like, we gotta play it on stream one time, Ron, because I haven't been able to hop back on that with you. But it's like. As for what he said about Black Ops, I don't know why he used the term rewrite history then, because that's still, like he said, that didn't make it not a great COD. It's not about that. COD today has tons of broken guns, and you know what I'm saying? We gonna have busted metas, but they just get nerfed and stuff gets buffed, and it's stupid. I ain't gonna lie, this might be a little bit off the dome, a hot take, but I think I'd rather it be the way it was before, because while you might do get something that's insanely broken, it stays that way, so you don't ever have to relearn or rework how you play to fix how to beat a meta. The armor lock, a lot of people complained about in Halo Reach was broken, but once you learned it and figured out how to navigate around it and how to troll other people who had it, folks would go armor lock and you would wait for it to run up, and you throw a grenade before run up, so right when they get out of armor lock, bro's dead. But if they were to nerf armor lock or buff it, now you have to rework how you play against armor lock, which I think that adds to the annoyance factor. And we playing a game and we gotta constantly, like, I don't know, like, you hop on that game one day and an entire character's nerfed, and so you suck with them or you suck against them or something. Like, it's weird. I think I'd rather just keep it that way. If it was broken, it is what it is, man. I think the best definition, I was actually explaining this to Sky a little while back, because I was telling her about Overwatch 1. She had no idea about how Overwatch 1 was, and she assumed it failed because there was an Overwatch 2, and I'm like, no. It didn't fail. It slowly died though. But Overwatch 1 died for that very reason. I think it's the blueprint to show you that won't work out in the long run, bro. Especially with a game that you have to purchase, bro. I bought Overwatch, and by 2019, the changes they made, it's almost like we not playing the same game, even at that time, that we bought in 2016. Would you agree with me, Kale? I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching, but I said almost. It wasn't as crazy of a night and day difference like Overwatch 1 and 2. But if you played Overwatch in 2016, 17, and then you played it in 2019, 2020, we talking whole different metas. We talking whole different layouts. Mercy cannot res the whole team no more. Lucio's gun is a lot faster. He moves different. His field of healing ain't as far no more. And plus new characters, which is cool. That's cool. But Junkrat used to be able to kill himself with his own bombs. That was a great change. Some changes was needed. I'm not gonna sit here and act like they wasn't, but you get what I'm saying though. I do think that way was better. But I think the only problem with what he said about Black Ops that just threw me off, scared me, was him saying rewrite history. But like, nah, yeah, ain't nobody saying Black Ops was perfect. It wasn't. No COD like was, but that was the best Call of Duty, bro, and one of the greatest Call of Duties to ever exist. If you don't want to give it the number one,
always been not fair. Asymmetry was the entire point. I put quotes around the words.
Let's hear what he has to really say about Dead by Daylight.
Asymmetry was the entire point. I put quotes around the words not fair because the community, both survivor and killer, just complain. They cannot agree on anything. So behavior does this thing where they're going back and forth catering to each side, and it's ruining the game. The hard truth for us as the general population is that most of these gaming companies don't listen to us. They listen to the 1%, the streamers and YouTubers. And that problem doesn't just affect Dead by Daylight, it affects a lot of modern games. If you're around my age or older, like 20s and above, you know back then we complained, we got frustrated, but we rolled with the punches. We played
exactly, and then you start to learn around it. So you're good. You get used to it. And things stay the same and you end up playing that game for forever. Yeah, a gun is broken. Yeah, a character's broken. Yeah, a weapon's broken. But folks figure out a way around it. And or they just call you lame for using it. Noob tube in Black Ops, bro. In Modern Warfare 2 and 3. The noob tube was a problem. And they called it a noob tube to make fun of people who used it.
Game as it was, not what TikTok wanted it to be. That mindset is almost gone in today's time. So my question to y'all is gaming worse because of it?
Yes. Absolutely, bro. Nostalgia bias,
in my opinion, is probably the biggest contributing factor into why people think old games are just genuinely better. But
would you say I'm nostalgia driven, bro? I don't think so. I know it sounds like I am on a certain level, but hear me out. I don't think I'm nostalgia like biased. But I'm asking you, KO and Ron, right here in this chat right now. I don't feel like I am. I know I talk a lot about old things, but bro, I'm not gonna sit here and actually rewrite history and say on like every level that like something old was just perfect or fundamentally better. Like no. Like, but Black Ops 1, the reason I talk like in the way I even talk about that, I'm not saying, I've even said on stream though, if when you look back at the first convo me and Kari got into about Black Ops 1 verse 2, I said Black Ops 2 is a better game, but it still, that didn't make it the best. Okay, but here's the thing.
Black Ops 2 superior, no cap.
Black Ops 2 is better of a game. It might be better. And I don't think when it comes to the mini games and all that, it was more fun than Black Ops 1, bro. It had a better multiplayer experience. Zombies was more like deep, but the classic, bro, Black Ops 1, just zombies is simple. 5 Kino, you can't beat those. Moon, come on, bro. Moon, you know what I'm saying? I can admit when a game is better, it don't matter. While still like, bro, I'm not nostalgic. Nah, bro, don't do that, bro. But that's the thing though. When have you ever heard me like, let's hear what he say about nostalgia bias. I hope I don't move like that. Let's see. If I see a lot of myself in this, I'm gonna be hurt, bro. Let's see.
What exactly is nostalgia, and how can it affect the way people view games from the past? Nostalgia is a sentimental longing for the past, usually a time, place, or experience associated with positive emotions and personal meaning, often childhood or adolescence. It's not just
KL knows, bro, too. KL, bro. I figured out what nostalgia is, G. I figured it out out of nowhere. A big part of why I figured out what nostalgia is at its core, no glaze. But I kid you not, what helped me figure out what nostalgia is and why folks love it and why we all love nostalgia though. Don't get it twisted. But I'm saying I'm not, I don't ever be trying to be nostalgia biased. But what helped me figure out what nostalgia is as a feeling in our hearts, bro, at its core, Lucky. Not even kidding you. Not even kidding you.
Missing the old days. It's your brain recreating emotionally charged memories in a way that feels warm.
This little dude, hey, he
nostalgia heavily affects the way people view games. It creates this like rosy retrospective bias. You only remember the good parts vividly. Playing after school, no responsibilities, friends on the couch, split screen gameplay. But you forget the terrible camera angles, the clunky controls, repetitive grinding, and those game-breaking bugs. When someone says gaming was better back then, what they often mean is, I felt better back then. Old games are tied to less stress, more free time, and no responsibilities. Whereas modern games are
like a lot of them games suck. But that's where I think the amazing part is when you really do find that game that actually. But see, a lot of them is nostalgia when they actually still enjoy that old game. Bro, I don't do that. Like when I hopped on Resident Evil 5, man. When I hopped on Resident Evil 5 for the first time. Kale, what year was that when I was streaming that, bro? I was streaming. Didn't I start those streams on Mixer? Whenever I started those streams, I remember, bro, I was low-key like, I didn't think I saved that first one. It might have been on Twitch. When I first booted up Resident Evil 5 for the first time in years, since I was little. And I was like, this game is buns. I didn't remember it being this clunky and trash. I was player 2 though. So it's like, nah, bro. Nah. But in comparison to the ones that's before it, and even the ones that's around it, I still do think it's probably one of the better ones. I think it's better than RE4, you know. But I think RE1 is definitely better than it. Yeah. I'm enjoying RE1 so far. So, you know, a lot of puzzles though, but
entirely different emotional contexts. Work stress, adult responsibilities, and competitive pressure. Your first experience to something creates a psychological imprint you'll never forget. Like you'll never forget your first multiplayer, your first open world, your first console. That novelty cannot be replicated because the brain loves the first time dopamine spikes. Modern games might be objectively better and better engineered, but they'll never recreate that first time experience. Nostalgia isn't bad, but it becomes misleading when it blinds someone to modern improvements, or when it turns into a everything sucks now mindset, or when your nostalgia
I'm gonna let him
just
finish.
rewrites history. Take Super Mario 64 for example. This was a revolutionary 3D platformer with iconic music and creative missions. But the camera used to fight you 24/7. The gameplay was slippery as hell. It had janky 3D animations, and you used to fall off the stage all the time. I personally believe a game like Super Mario Odyssey is 10 times better than that game in every aspect besides
absolutely.
music. But nostalgia would prevent some people from accepting that. So it begs the question: is nostalgia enhancing our memory, or is it blurring our perception?
Talk to these niggas, run! Cause holy bro. And this is excellent, cause now this is excellent, bro. I get to explain my Discord. No. I don't hate Resident Evil. No, I do not. I do not hate Resident Evil fans. I'm lying. I absolutely hate Resident Evil fans. These niggas are the most pretentious and annoying people, bro. I'm talking about the stance. I'm talking deep in, bro. If you just think Resident Evil is cool, that doesn't make you know. I'm talking about them super fans. I'm talking about them ones who will sit here and look you in the face and say Resident Evil 4 was perfect. Resident Evil 4 was amazing. The remake sucks. The remake is not as good as the original, and they would play the original any day over the remake. I'm dead serious. They exist. They sit here, bro, and they really be believing it. They'll sit here and they won't admit to anything being fundamentally better. There's so many of them in the Resident Evil fan base, bro. Couple that on top of the delusional ones. Let me chill, cause Ron's in here. Ada does not want Leon. I'm so sorry. Ada does not want Leon. Let that sink in. Ada does not want Leon. Outside of that, I can deal with them. Cool. Yes, she do, bro. I can deal with them. But, bro, holy Resident Evil fans, I think just there's a core amount of them that have a huge nostalgia bias. But the amount of them, there's a point, bro, with nostalgia bias in general. This goes with any fandom, bro. Any fandom. Resident Evil just happens to, I have met personally the most of these type of people. But I know, like, probably, you know, every fandom has these type of people, but certain ones have just this higher threshold of these type of people. And I think there's a point of you get so nostalgia biased, you end up being delusional. And that's what folks need to watch for.
Old games actually better, or were we just happier? All right, let's step.
That's what they need to hear. I'm sorry. I should have let him finish that in general, bro. I'm pausing at the worst parts.
Or is it blurring our perception? Are old games actually better, or were we just happier? All right, let's step away from opinions for a second, because when it comes to this topic, subjective takes only hold but so much weight. If we're really gonna ask whether old games were better than modern games, we have to look at some type of analytics. So here we have the top 10 best-selling games all time by units sold. We have Tetris at number 1 with 500 million units, Minecraft 350 million units, GTA 5 220 million units, Wii Sports 83 million units, Red Dead Redemption 2 79 million units, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 78 million units, PUBG 74 million units, Super Mario Bros 58 million units, Human Fall Flat 55 million units. 5 out of those 10 games released in 2013 or later. I chose 2013 as the median because that's around the time the PS4 and Xbox One came out, and I think it's fair to consider that the start of modern gaming. So analytically, between old games and modern games, it's a basic split. Older games and newer games are both dominating in sales. That already changes the idea that modern games don't hit the same anymore. So let's take a look at some consoles. The top 10 best-selling consoles of all time is the PS2, 160 million units. Nintendo Switch, 155 million units. Nintendo DS, 154 million units.
Hang on. The DS is third? Man.
Nintendo Switch, 155 million units. Nintendo DS, 154 million units. Game Boy, 118 million units. PS4, 117 million units. PS1, 102 million units. The Wii, 101 million units. The PS5, 92 million units. PS3, 87 million units. And the Xbox 360, 84 million units. Only 3 out of 10 of those consoles released 2013 or later. So when it comes to hardware, older consoles dominate in terms of charts. What's weird is that gaming is bigger now than it was in the past. Fortnite has 500 million plus registered accounts. Roblox has 100 million daily active users right now, and Warzone shortly after launch had 100 million players. The player base today is astronomically bigger than it was in the PS2 era. So now we have this weird paradox. Older consoles dominate in lifetime sales, modern games dominate in unit sales, but the total player base is larger today. So analytically, it becomes hard to gauge what the average player prefers. Older consoles had longer life cycles with less competition from PC.
Hey, that's a good point. How does like things get bigger, but at the same time it's harder to figure out what everyone wants then and play, because it's just there's so many people gaming now. That's a good. I never even thought about that. That does make it harder though. You would think on paper it'd make it easier, but it don't.
PC and mobile. Modern games benefit from digital distribution and global expansion. The industry itself is exponentially bigger now. So are older consoles higher on the list because they was better, or because they had longer shelf lives, less market fragmentation, no live service competition? And are modern games selling more because they're better, or because gaming is more?
Bro, I'm talking with a dude in my job the other day, and we was literally like, I'm like, gee, the only time now, with how games got more expensive and the consoles are more expensive, none of us, how many folks do you think on average in comparison was in a thirst to get the next gen, get PS5 and series this time around? I just don't think it was even close to the amount of people who wanted a PS4 and Xbox One, because everybody I knew was trying to get a PS4 and Xbox One the year it dropped, or 2014, which is when I got mine. And then it's like 360 and PS3, we was too young. But I also think I remember my brother buying consoles. I remember the older people around my lives, they weren't like tweaking to get it right away, and they was willing to wait for Black Friday and all types of. And I think it wasn't because like there was nothing you were missing out on back in like, but when the Xbox One and PS4, the multiplayer games start to hit, and it's like you got to get it. But like with PS2 and going to a PS3, or going from an Xbox original to a 360, there wasn't much to push you because you playing single player games for the most part. Xbox maybe had push though, because Halo 2, but Halo 2 was on the original Xbox, so you could just get it on there. So I know folks wasn't thirsty. We had the original Xbox, and it's like it was a lot more single player games, and there was no internet. Yeah, I think the only time was that peak going into last gen, bro. That was the time. That was the moment. I don't think buying any new generation is going to feel like that, because now the jumps ain't even as big anymore. But that one, the jump was big graphically, and multiplayer was hitting different than it ever has. But now, the PS5, the PS6 jump ain't even going to be, come on, bro. Hey, a few extra grass follicles and, a little bit more fidelity.
Global. Digital sales inflate lifetime totals, and the market reach is larger. The reality is, data doesn't clearly prove that older games were better, and it doesn't prove that modern games were better either. But what it does prove is that gaming has evolved. The scale is bigger, the audience is bigger, the money is bigger, but preference, that's way more complicated. So it begs the question, if modern games are selling at historic numbers, the player base is larger than ever before, and the gaming revenue is at all-time highs, is the industry actually declining, or are we just comparing two different eras under two different conditions?
It's not, but it's the quality. The quality feel like it is, but even that's not. If we're being honest, player behavior. Now this is what's declined, and we know that.
I wanted to finish this video off with an underrated talking point a lot of us probably
No
don't
one
notice.
talks
A lot
about
of us
this.
like to say that older
Enough.
games were better, but we rarely ever talk about how the player has changed. 1. Competitive culture got sweaty as hell. Back then, we had good players, but now everyone is a meta slave. Content creators optimize everything. Ranking systems are everywhere, and games are just genuinely way more stressful. And that's not because they're worse, it's because
I'm done
gamers
playing
just
ranked.
genuinely try harder nowadays. 2.
Don't even care.
Monetization has changed player expectations. Old games, you bought the game and everything that came with it. Modern games are just filled with battle passes, cosmetic shops, seasonal content, and live service updates. 3. Information
He said
cosmetic
what?
shops.
Why does Tekken have a battle pass? Wow. Wow.
Seasonal content and live service updates. 3. Information access changed everything. Old games didn't have these big Reddit breakdowns. There was no TikTok or Twitter out.
It's genuinely just annoying now. I ain't gonna hold you. I think this genuinely just annoying now.
Rage, and there was no massive ass day one patches. But with modern games, every flaw of the game is dissected in the first 24 hours of release. There'll be TikToks, Reels, Facebook Reels, Shorts, YouTube videos about cosmetics that they don't like. The perception is just genuinely more amplified in today's time. At the end of the day, old games are not flawless, and new games are not so.
Had to get food. We good now? There was no reason for me to play that sound. There was no reason. My fault. Don't.
I wanted to speak on both sides in this video because I think a lot of people kind of just choose a side. But I think it's important to understand that nostalgia, player culture, monetization, and social media influence has changed the way we experience gaming. The kids of today's time are gonna grow up and be like, oh, Elden Ring was peak. These new games are trash now. The same way
Bro, Elden Ring was peak. These new games are trash now. Yeah, that's how they gonna be. That's exactly how they gonna be, bro.
grow up and be like, oh, Elden Ring was peak. These new games are trash now. The same way how I would be like, oh, Sonic Adventure 2 was peak. These new Sonic games are trash now. There's probably a kid that genuinely thinks Sonic Forces is good. The numbers show that the industry is bigger than ever before. But
Bro, I've been told by not a single soul that game is good. That's so funny, bro. And I want to believe it is, but I know it's not.
the feeling of better often comes from who we were, not just what we played. So maybe gaming didn't fall off. Maybe it's not declining. Maybe old games were better. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment sections. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't before. Oh, what do
This is a W video.
I be saying, bro?
Yeah. W video. He tripped me up at some parts. I thought he was going to go one way and he didn't go that way. He got it. The word ain't made confused though. But I get it. Rewrite history on Black Ops scared me. Okay. So now we're going to look at this. You wouldn't survive 2000s gaming. WinCon 97. It's the last video we're going to watch. I don't know. I feel like I need to say something. I feel like there was something I didn't expound upon out of what he just said. But like the biggest problem is the people. Like I think we know this.